these big stages, these big occasions so early in my career that my first kind of 5 fights, I wasn't really showing what I can do, and I'm just like, I always say I'm learning on the job and just trying to improve with every fight.
Leah, with being already ranked 5th in Bellator and another win under your belt now, which sort of opponents do you start to look towards now that you're up with the Cats and Garnus, you're going to be competing with those sorts of people soon? So who's your next opponent in your mind?
I don't look at anybody, I just say yeah to whoever Jude or Mike texts me. They'll agree. I don't care, just as long as I get a fight. Hopefully they'll put me in Dublin in 4 weeks. I'm gonna
I think you can do that, really?
Yeah, I'm not hurt. I'm just a bit of a sore lip, but I'll get definitely fight in 4 weeks in Dublin.
And were you happy with your performance? How would you assess it overall?
Yeah, I was happy. I was able to bring out my striking and my stand up and just bring it out in the cage on the night, because I've always known I can do it. It's nice to just believe in myself a bit more.
And how did it feel, the crowd? So the crowd went absolutely insane for the co-main event and the main event. How did the crowd feel tonight?
Yeah, like I always say, Dublin is like the place to be, but London was the place to be tonight. The energy and the crowd and just the atmosphere and just the whole week, the Bellator team and staff, it's been such an amazing experience, and I never take it for granted, the position they put me in.
I speak to the fight for a second. You stand like a different level to hers. The 1-2 you could have missed with it. Was there at any point in the third round that you thought you could put your foot on the gas and take her out?
Yeah, but I had seen some of her old fights and people got kind of overcommitted and got into that clinch shift, so she wanted to go. So just trying to be patient to be a bit more mature rather than reckless in my fight. And I know, like, going forward up the level and up the ranks, I can't just be reckless and swing. And you know, these girls are so experienced. I just want to try and keep my composure.
And then the omoplata didn't really know discomfort at any stage. It was comfortable. So you hooked the leg over to stop her kind of wrenching.
Yeah. No, I felt calm. I felt just patient in those positions. I knew she was going to jump on submissions fast, and I've drilled and drilled just keeping calm. And people make mistakes in those positions to try and get out quickly, whereas I was trying to just maintain my posture in that.
Your striking coach was so insistent, even when you were still in the cage. Remember, it's this. Can you talk us through what he was talking to you about at the time? Remember?
So actually, I was only allowed 2 cornermen, and my boxing coach regularly was in the crowd. I could hear him in the crowd, let the right hand go, let the right hand go. And yeah, we work a lot. Same with Owen Roddy. We work a lot on straight shots, keeping it simple, just timing, making them miss, and on landing. So yeah, I feel like I was able to do that tonight, and I got my rhythm and timing a bit better.
We saw you after the fight run over to embrace someone. Was that your boxing coach, or was that
yeah, it was my sister, Jay, and my best friend Jay and Emma, and my boxing coach Ray. Yeah, they were in the crowd.
Before the fight, Brogan said if she did have an advantage anywhere, it would be in the stand-up. So were you surprised in that aspect that you seem to have such an advantage there?
Not really. Like watching her fights, nothing was very technical or clinical. It was quite wild shots swinging, and yeah, I just felt like I was one step ahead. Like I said, I was going to be.
Where's the little one?
Isabella, she's actually in London, so my sister, my mum, and Isabella flew over tonight, and tomorrow we're going to go out in London and see a show.
So, watching live?
No, she doesn't watch it.
We're going to see. Do you know yet?
What
show?
The Prince of Egypt, I think, is out in the West End.
Yeah, it was really good tonight. It was so good.
Thank you.
I think you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I think after the first round.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Man, how you guys doing? How you guys doing?
We wanted more.
Oh man, we spoke about this. We spoke about this. We spoke about this.
Yeah, exactly.
We spoke about this.
So when it was read out as a split decision, was there anything in the back of your mind that thought it could have gone the other way?
No, I still thought I won it. I was just like that. Whoever said Lima won's an idiot. That's all I thought. That's all I thought.
How satisfied are you with the performance, getting the scorecards?
The walkout was great. The walk. You know what? Yeah. I wanted to finish. I don't know. I feel like there was a few moments where I had him rocked, and I'm like, just remember what happened before. Take your time. Take your time. I took my time. Obviously, he recovered, and I realized that moment's kind of passed now. So I was like, okay, let's take my time again. And I feel like I was in that moment of take your time a bit too long now. Kind of going from one side to the next. So yeah. So not entirely happy, but a result is a result. You know what I mean? If I'm going to relate it to Man United, they won by a hair or like a couple of seconds the other day.
About learning from the first fight, there was a moment, I think it was the first round after Douglas had taken you down, and you backed away, and there was an option there where perhaps in the first fight you might have tried to get up, and that was when you got clipped in the first fight. But you stayed on your backside and fended him off with your legs. Was that moment going through your mind at the time when you were down there towards the end of the round as well? Weirdly enough, no, not really. I kind of just felt that one just felt a bit more natural. I got up a couple of times. A bit more rush, but was paying attention to him a lot more. And as close as it probably felt to a lot of people, when I've got my eye on it, I'm very good at slipping things like that. And I felt comfortable. You know, it's those moments everyone's like, ooh, I was just like, nah, it's cool. So I got up knowing he's still gonna be firing. So I felt comfortable to be fair. Sorry,
Simon. You know, everybody's talking about it. What if there'd been a fourth and fifth round? Because I think universally people would like to see you and him fight again.
Five
rounds, maybe.
In all honesty, I would love to run that back.
It was so brilliant and technical. And
you know what it is?
It was amazing.
You know how I am, and I said I've spoken to all of you guys before. I'm petty. I know what I could have done. I know. And I was right there every single time. I don't know how many times I rocked him with an elbow, rocked him with a couple of right hands. I was there a few times. I know a few more things, and I push him right over the edge, and he doesn't get back up. He's a tough man, 100%, like very tough man. There's some of those shots I know a lot of people wouldn't even go up from. Like I'd even cut. I mean, damn, that's tough. But yeah, I'd run that back. I'd happily run that back, and just I need to prove it. There, I need to prove it.
This was obviously the first kind of rematch that you had to, go back and revisit. Have you learned anything, from yourself from that whole process?
Yeah, I think this time I got into my own head a little bit, but just more, like I said, I kind of gone from putting too much pressure on to not putting enough pressure on. I should have. There's certain moments where I probably could have been a little bit more reckless, just to, like I said, just finish that fight. But that's about it, really. Just I felt good going into this fight. Always have that nervous feeling because he's a great athlete, but felt good. I can't really complain about how I felt beforehand. I think I was definitely the right mentality, but in there, I started to question myself a little bit. But that's it.
You had a little exchange with Douglas after the fight had finished. It was all very cordial and respectful. What was said between the pair of you after that fight?
I said, I hate him. You're a piece of shit. Wanted to kill you. Nah, come on. That guy's a lovely man. Like genuinely inspirational in terms of what he's achieved. Inspirational as a human being. He's a very polite, lovely. It's hard. You can't be annoyed at that person. Like he is genuinely a really lovely person. He's the type of role model you want as an MMA fighter if your kids were watching. You know what I mean? Family man, you know what I mean, shows that you can see the love for his family, you can see the hard work that he puts in, and you see the results as well. You know what I mean? So I can't fault him as a person.
Seeing you embracing the fans on the way back to the locker room, what was it like to fight back in the UK?
Today was something else, man. Literally, when I got into the cage and I saw Alexis, my coach, like, calm down, calm down, because I was just pumped, man. Seriously, and he's just like, just don't burn it all now. We haven't even thrown a punch or a kick yet. So, oh man, electric in there, absolutely electric.
How do you keep calm? You know, obviously that walkout was so insane, and I'm sure that's the loudest I think I've ever heard the crowd in there for you.
Yeah.
But how do you keep your composure and keep calm when you have Skepta coming out, walking out with you, and the crowd going, you know, so insane?
You see your coach saying, calm down. There's not that. I'm scared of that guy. Whatever he says, I do. So the second he said, calm down, I was like, chill, man.
Does that help you? Does that energy help you channel your energy into the fight?
To be fair, I think it just gives me energy to just keep going. Like, I didn't feel tired in that fight at all, which is great. You know, 100% is just the work that I put in beforehand. But also that sometimes, you know, like, he gave me a good kick on one of my legs, man, when I was on the floor. And he hit me. I was like, damn, man, how do you kick so damn hard? It's ridiculous. Everyone knows that film, Kickboxer, Tom Poe. I could just imagine walking past the change room, you just kicking the walls down, you know? That kick is dirty, man, I'm telling you. But yeah, all I can say is I'm just happy to be here, smiling and just happy for the win.
Going in, you was ranked number 2, he was ranked number 1. Does the victory guarantee you a title shot next, you feel?
Yeah, like, I think the obvious, but in all honesty, if I'm probably gonna push to get this one back again. And as Gareth was saying, let's do 5 rounds. Why not? You know what I mean? Let's go longer. Because if by the end of the 3rd round that had happened again, I got 2 more rounds to find you and finish it properly. You know what I mean? But if I balance out, I've gone from one end to the next. So hopefully I find that in the middle, and like I said, I finish him.
You'd rather have that over a title shot?
Yeah, I've been telling people from the beginning. Like, I feel like no one really listens. I don't care about the title. It's a belt. Who cares, man? Like, how many people that are title holders that are nowhere near as popular as I am don't mean anything? Like, it does, obviously, but for me it doesn't. I swear to you, that moment there's so many belt holders in Bellator that couldn't pull that off. Like I say that with confidence. There is a lot of people that cannot pull what I did today. And I feel like people are drawn to me because of my enjoyment for the sport, not because I'm chasing anything. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, it's more about me and my journey. I want to prove things to myself. I didn't get to prove that today. I won, but I didn't get to prove what I wanted to prove, which is just make his eyes roll to the back of his head and just not get back up. And I know I can do it. So I prefer to run it back.
Mike, if I talk to the specifics of the fight for a second, pre-fight you said that you had a couple of things, a couple of tricks up your sleeve that you thought were going to lead to a highlight or a knockout. In the middle of the fight, I'm watching it, I can see the old chuck the elbow, distracted with the left. Looks like he holds his left hand low. Seemed like you're going to try and take him out with the lead right hand from orthodox. Was that in the plan?
That's always in the plan. It's obviously a shot, you know, down the middle, and that sniper shot that I catch a lot, but that wasn't going to be the one that was going to make it viral. Definitely wasn't. But seeing as we may go again, I can't actually reveal that.
That's one of the most satisfying things about tonight. That you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you were actually just comfortable in there for 15 minutes, even though you were in some discomfortable positions. Yeah, no. To be fair, again, he's a world class athlete. You know what I mean? And it didn't feel like much to me. He felt like he tests you. He tests me and challenged me in terms of like the technical aspect. Yeah. But that's the best. You know what I mean? And it's been the best for a while, and I'm up there. You know, I'm up there, and a lot of people, you know, always like to second guess my style and, you know, how good I actually am. But even someone like him, I kind of nullified him. And again, once again, I've made someone that is known for knocking people out decide to be like, no, forget this, man. Like, let's just go on the floor. And even still couldn't do much, but he still was happier there than having me bounce around in front of him. So I feel like I've proved my talent in terms of my striking ability. It was in my game plan to just be boring on the floor because I was hoping
we get stood up. So I can again just go back for my. I can go for the jiu-jitsu thing, but it's just it was just an unnecessary risk when I was just we always go with game plan, make it boring, hope for the ref to, especially in this kind of crowd. I was hoping he's pressured into being like stand up. Yeah, you know what I mean? I was hoping he's just gonna the crowd's gonna be on him and he was just gonna be like, but he's a great referee obviously, so he's not gonna be pushed like that. But I was hoping for that so I can get back up and finish it.
Michael, you said you wanted to prove that you're leveled above him. Do you feel that you did that? Even though I know you're saying you're frustrated you didn't get this opportunity.
Yeah, no, so no, like I feel like I proved I'm on the same level as, but not above because it's too close a fight, which is why I prefer to put him to sleep. But then there's no doubt. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? If I by 5 goals, there's a big difference. Again, a win is a win, but if I beat you by 5 goals, I thrashed you. Like there's a level. If I beat you by 1 goal, it's like, man, that could have, if they play again, go anyway. I don't like that. I'd prefer to be like, you know what? That first fight, it was lucky. And this fight proved that first fight was lucky. Now it still seems like, you know what, he won the first one and almost won the second one. You know what I mean?
It's admirable, like, why you want to have a definitive ending to it. But I mean, the title shot is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's right there. But is your thought process also kind of attached to? I remember when we talked that Yaroslav said that he's going to take like the next 9 months out. Is that all almost at the forefront in your mind when you're making this decision as well, or is it just purely just to, as you say, roll the dice to the back of his head?
It was I'm gonna go back one more time. No one asked me this again. I don't care about the belt. Seriously.
I was late.
Yeah. BMT.
Can we ask you this then, right? It was an amazing atmosphere tonight.
Oh man, yeah.
There is enormous support from you.
Yeah.
We're on, BBC iPlayer it live on Friday night in prime time. We need big stars and we need the opportunity to have that platform. Do you feel like you're beginning to get that tonight?
Yeah, you know what? If anybody, I will keep relating it now because even as a
like properly mainstream.
I feel even as a spectator, as in when I was in the back and I was watching, I was like, man, the place is filled already. This was like way before the main card even happened, and I was like, in my head, I was like, that's for me. Like they've come because they're so excited to just see what I'm gonna bring. They've come early, and again, normally, just getting to the main card and people are slowly dripping in, and the people were there, front row and center, like, man, I need to see everything.
Don't you think you'd be good on something like Strictly? I think you'd be pretty good. I think it'd be pretty hard to pick up.
I got moves, I'm just saying. But
could you do something like that?
No, 100%. But I feel like that's for like end of your career. No disrespect. No disrespect to people. But I feel like like I'm about to retire. Let me go and just to stay relevant. I'll dance in front of the crowd when I'm beating people up. Forget that. But yeah.
Do it while you're fighting and then bring that crowd back to.
No, yeah, I could do, but nah, I'm not too fussed for that.
Alright, what do you think, Mario? Michael, weights. You look like in the first round, especially the first half, you look like you're killing him and backing him, mates. You eased off on that in the second and third. You feel like if you do over in the end, that you'll stick to the fence and keep backing and keep confusing him.
Yeah, and I just pulled the trigger a little bit more. The feints were working, but I tell my students this as well. After a while, you stop believing. So if you feint, it's like, oh shit, something's gonna come. Man, it ain't come for 8, man. And that's what started to happen. He just like, whatever, and just put his front foot, and then it changes my distancing. So if I go too early and I can see what he was trying to go for, exactly the same thing. If I read it at the wrong time, he would have tried to sweep my leg out, and so on and so forth. And again, the only time he really found a big kick this time was when I was on the floors. Obviously, I'm stationary. Outside of that, how many times did he miss this time? So again, I'm reading that. Like, I know I got that on lock in terms of when I'm standing on my feet, he ain't giving me that kick anymore. But as you say, the feints were there, but then I need to land something to make him go, okay. So the next time I start feinting, he's still worried. And that was my mistake this time. Again, just not really kind of going for it.
What's the end goal for you? I know you say you're nowhere near retirement right now, and you have also said that the belts don't matter. So when you do eventually get to that point where you do hang up the gloves, what's going to be the top thing on your achievement list that
Strictly.
perhaps you hadn't?
Say it.
No, top thing I'm actually doing is, you know what it is. Within this sport, it's a difficult sport. In all honesty, my main goal long term is we need to change what's happening with fighters' pay and so on and so forth. It's a big talk and what's going on right now. There's a couple of things I'm trying to work on in the background. Not going to say too much just yet, but I'd love to be a big part of why the next generation actually gets paid. And then for me personally, I'm looking to go down the movie route. I know I've spoken to people before. I want to get into acting and so on and so forth. I've created a lot of network. I'm actually writing a script with amazing, beautiful lady over there, Sabakia, producer. We're writing a series that should be coming out soon. Well, say soon. We're building on that, working on that. It's going to take a little while, but we're doing a lot. There's a lot that's going on. MMA is my platform to then shift eyes to other things that we're trying to work on. This is why belts is belts. Like everyone else can chase that. I'm chasing something bigger. People are going to forget a lot of champions. They're always going to remember MVP.
And I suppose with like Dolph Lundgren and Randy in the crowd talking about movies, you know, might pop up in Expendables 4.
And that movie's a bit played out, but don't tell him that though. Nah, I do a little cameo, you know, come in, just punch someone in the face, bounce. Everything, it has to be the right movies, it has to be the right thing. Even with here, I'm very tactical about what I do. I'm not going to be in anybody's movie where they're beating me up, full stop. I'm the one and only MVP. Everything I do, I'm trying to make. It has to be big. You're not going to see me in these random scripts. When you see me on the screen, you're going to be like, damn, he got that part. Yeah.
We're after a new 007.
Hey, Idris, move over.
He's cool. He's old.
Like, you said that. Look, turn the camera around, just so he knows. You said that. Idris, I love you.
Who did it better, you or Cristiano? At the end there?
Oh man, that was just a tribute to him, my team. I'm gassed that he's back.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that over his dead body. Over his body. That's supposed to be my head, but you know. Guys, thank you very much, man. Strictly time. Take care, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Take it easy, mate. Evening, guys. How are you doing?
All good. How did you grade that one on the events that you've hosted? It's been a while since you've managed to bring one back over here.
Yeah, we had a couple of events last year. Obviously, we had the 3 in Milan and then Paris, but you know, we've been chomping at the bit to get back with a crowd. And I mean, who would have known? We rolled the dice to put this date in the diary on the 1st of October, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. Tickets went well, you know. All the build-up was fantastic, and then I think, you know, the night was just incredible. If you look at that main card, started off with Tim and Eve, and they really set the tone, and great fight. And then Yannick and Luke, well, I mean, just unbelievable. And then it just rose and rose and rose to just an epic main fight. And I think, you know, MMA's back, London's back, and Bellator's back here. It's great.
I know this is probably slightly off limits to mention the competition, the rivals. The UFC were going to be over in September. They pulled their show. Did your eyes sort of widen up a little bit when that happened? Because that cleared the way for you to have a nice run up to this event. You had one of the most crowds we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, look, we've been quietly building away, I think, and I think with Bellator, and I think, we obviously look at what's going on to a large extent, but we're trying to do our own thing, and we, take our own path. And I think, if other MMA organizations were here this month, it may have happened, it may have been good, but I just really don't think it would have made that much of an impression on tonight. I think it was really lined up nicely with the right card, bit of pent up, audience there, and it was just fantastic.
Talk to us about Luke Traynor, because a lot of people in the building probably wouldn't have seen him fight before. He's got an incredible backstory, an incredible personality. I think the media have kind of fallen in love with him a little bit this week. He's been an absolute joy to deal with, and he goes in and puts in a performance like that. You've got a star in your hands.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I mean, he's a joy to deal with, and I think everyone does fall in love with him. And Yannick's a fantastic bloke as well. Both got really good backstories. So this was an epic fight, and I think it was a big step up for Luke. We've seen him fight. He's 4-0, but could he take someone like Yannick? And it just was so tense, wasn't it? I mean, two big lads, and it was just a really, really hard fought win for Luke. But you'll learn a lot from that. And as you say, I think he could go far.
You're back on English soil. You've got an event in the books. You know what's coming next. What's next? Are you coming back to the UK? How often are we going to start to see these European shows back on stream again?
Well, our plan a couple of years ago, we had some really big plans for Europe, and obviously got derailed. But this year we've come back with 3 shows in 5 weeks. We've got this one, 23rd of October in Moscow, which is really exciting, first time in Russia, and then back to Dublin for the 5th of November, which will be the usual end of year party, I think, in Dublin, I'm hoping. And so that will see us through 21. But looking at 22, everyone wishes they had a crystal ball at the moment, but I think something like tonight's proven that Bellator works in Europe, certainly works in London, and I'm hoping for many more nights on this side of the Atlantic.
Question from me, Roy TV David Cameron. This felt like a night for Britain. It felt like almost like a post. I know we're not out of the back of it. It felt like a bit of a post-COVID celebration. The music was banging, Andrew Peelton, and he gets it done at the end. Talk about the pride that you have for Bellator putting on an event like this in Britain, like showcasing British fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an immense amount of pride for it. I think it was, you roll the dice with these things when you announce them, and certainly in this atmosphere of what's going on. But I think, we felt like we had the right ingredients, and I think the people were ready for a big night out, and you had that sort of optimism, didn't it? It had that sort of roaring 20s, let's get out and have some fun, finally. And the one thing you can't control is the fights and the atmosphere around the fights. And I think that was the bit you sort of cross your fingers and toes and think, hope it works, I hope it works. But you could just tell, even 7:30 this night was going to be special. My adrenaline was flying all through the night. It was absolutely wonderful night.
Do you regret that you didn't just call the main event as a 5-round fight at the beginning, or just change policy for this event?
Well, I didn't regret it because it was never on the cards, and I think that's, maybe something we can look at in the future, but, it was never on the cards. So I think in hindsight, you could look at it and say, would it have been interesting to see another couple of rounds? I know I would have liked to, but I think, that's the beauty of hindsight. It could have gone in 2, it could have gone in 1. So, you don't know, but, it looked like it was a classic matchup, and I would have seen another 10 rounds of that.
Well, Page said in here straight afterwards, the next fight he wants is Douglas Lima over 5 rounds.
Yeah, and he didn't look like he'd been punched in the head too much, so he was fine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Obviously, Michael's very honourable. I think the first thing you got to say is those two guys have, been a great ambassadors for the sport all week. They've been, working hard, promoting the fight. They've been just great sportsmen, really great gents, the pair of them. Douglas, fantastic sportsman, and I think, of course they'd like to fight again. We'd all pay to see that. I certainly would.
There's a lot of fighters who are on this card this weekend who were really desperate to get back in there and compete. It's a payday for them. They've had a lot of frustration with COVID and everything. Just wondered if I could get your opinion on Charlie Leary, who was due to fight tonight. He said he's battling depression during his time away, and I think a lot of people could probably sympathise with that. Loses his fight due to one of his cornermen, I think, during the week, testing positive. He wants to get back in there as quickly as possible. How quickly would you be able to pivot and maybe add him to like the Dublin card or something like that?
Look, I mean, you know, my heart breaks for Charlie. You know, he threw it all out there in that fight in Milan last year. Great win for him, and he was over the moon. I spoke to him after the fight. He was buzzing from that, you know, and like everyone else, he's had a really tough year. And, you know, you just, when you asked who was going to be on this one, you know, to hear it was him was just heartbreaking. And, you know, I'd love to get him back out there because, you know, he deserves it for sure.
I know you already answered the question on the train, but he has impressed us massively over the last couple of days. You can't even make a fighter more marketable than him. Like, what is the plan for you? You just throw the checkbook at him and get him into a long-term deal?
Well, look, I think like anything, you know, we've got some great people behind the scenes here working on matchups and what we can do with someone. And I think, you know, I think you almost couldn't have that decision till now with Luke. I mean, you know, like you say, he's got all the ingredients, but, you know, had he fought anyone of any repute, and Yannick was, you know, it was a tough matchup, and Yannick put his heart and soul into that fight tonight. So to see Luke come through it the way he did was, then you start to think, well, what can we do with this guy, you know? And like you say, I'd love to think we've got a star on our hands in it, and, you know, the signs are good.
Is he the kind of guy that you'd want to keep over here for these kind of cards? Because I know he's very keen to obviously go out for the state. Is he someone that you're keen to keep on, you know, the Euro cards?
Well, I get very selfish about my fighters, and I want to keep everyone over here. You know, I'm always texting Scott Coker, like, keep them over here, because you know, as you've seen tonight, it works. But, you know, the other good thing about Bellator and Bellator Europe over here is that, you know, the guys are fighting and getting recognized. Luke was on Showtime tonight in the US in that fight, you know, so they've got a platform to go out and fight the best in the world, and I think that's what we're trying to create here. So, you know, I'll have a little wrestle with the guys in the US, but, you know, I'd be happy to see him go over there and do his stuff as well, as long as we can get it back.
The European series, or the European events, if you like, largely built to help build the stars on this side of the pond. Has there ever been any serious discussion about instituting European titles, which would then give additional gravitas to your events, would help build specifically European fighters, which could then, when they transition across to America, do so with a belt over their shoulder and added kudos as they do so?
Look, we've talked about that. I'm personally not a fan. I just think, for me, I think the great thing what Scott Coker's happy to do, which I don't think, you know, which you've got to give him a lot of credit for, is bringing big names over to the US and fighting them in our time zone, you know. And you've seen that time and time again since we started this whole thing in the last few years. Seeing someone like Doug Lima fight in London, I think that was a big thing. I think MVP, you know, a lot of people came to see MVP tonight, but MVP's fought here before. I think everyone really want to see MVP fight Doug Lima, and that's half the charm of what we can do here. So for me, the European belts has a feeling of second tier to me, which I don't think would be fair on the way the guys are fighting. So, you know, everything's open, but for now, I think it's all about a level playing field and bringing the best in the world over here to fight.
All right, thank you, David.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.